Hey everybody. So today I wanted to talk about two things. I wanted to talk about pinching off dahlias as well as deadheading. And trust me, both of these are good things to do for the plants, and if you follow along with me, you won't have to worry about messing anything up. We're kind of at an interesting time with the dahlias in the garden. So it is the beginning of August when I'm recording this. Some of the dahlias have been blooming for a few weeks, and so they've got spent blooms that can use some deadheading. And some of the other dahlias, though, are just getting into bloom. And so it's a good opportunity to take a look at them and see, are there any that would maybe benefit from pinching off? Pinching off dahlias. This is the process of taking the dahlia plant and pinching off emerging buds. And the reason why you do this is to encourage a bushier plant that is going to have more blooms during the season. If you don't pinch off, you're going to get a very tall, narrow plant, and you may only get a handful of blooms on that plant for the season. I realize it might seem a little counterintuitive. You look at your plant, it's like, oh yes, I've got my dahlia, it's starting to grow, I can start seeing the first buds coming up, but now you're telling me I should just cut those off? And the answer is, yeah, I am. But don't worry, it's a really simple, really easy process. And like I said, it's going to benefit the plant. It's going to give you more blooms during the season. So you might be asking, when do I need to do this? When is a good time to pinch off my dahlias? So this is something I'm going to be looking at doing early in the season before the plant starts putting out too many blooms. So depending on how quickly the plants are growing, when I got them in the ground, this could be the middle of July into the beginning of August, which is where I am right now. So it really just depends on the plant and how they're growing in the place wherever you have them planted. I let my plants tell me what they need and when they need it. So I'm going to be looking at the dahlias. I'm going to be looking for one of the plants that is tall and narrow, that's sending up one really tall bud, and that's going to be one of the plants that I'm going to pinch off. Some dahlias naturally have a bushier or a mounding kind of habit. They'll naturally have a lot of branching to them, and those plants I don't bother with pinching off. I know they're going to give me a lot of blooms. I don't need to worry about that. These tend to be some of the smaller single varieties, and they get to be about, you know, between 2, maybe up to 3 feet tall, but they have this kind of already mounding habit, or they're very bushy just right from the get-go without me having to do any pinching off. For those ones, I leave them alone. But for plants that are just shooting, rocketing right up to the sky, those are the ones that I'm going to be looking at to pinch off. Because not only am I going to get more blooms, but if it's a bulkier, bushier plant, that's also going to make it a little bit more resistant to falling over, and it's going to mean that I don't necessarily have to stake it. And so that's another benefit. If I don't have to stake the plants, or I don't have to stake as many of them, if I don't have to stake all of my plants, then that's a lot less work for me. I've got about 80 or so dahlias planted in this bed, and staking every single one of them would be a lot of work. So I want to encourage the plants to stand up and stand on their own as much as I can. So when you're pinching off the dahlias, we're not talking about like shearing off the plants. This is a good one, I think, to pinch off. And so I start from the top. This is just me personally. I start from the top and I count 1, 2, 3 nodes down. And so actually there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 nodes here that I can see. So I probably will, I think I want to pinch it off to about here. And that you can already see that there's a side shoot kind of already trying to form here. So that's why I think this is a good spot to pinch this off. But, all right, so I said 1, 2, 3. I want to go right here. I want to try to do this without damaging that new shoot that's forming. And there we go. I want to be doing it. The other thing I want to do out here is I want to do a bit of deadheading. Some of these dahlias have been putting out blooms now for a couple of weeks, and as those blooms start to die back, start to be done blooming, I want to clip those and cut those out. Deadheading is also going to encourage more blooms. It's going to encourage the plant to put out more branching and more blooms on those branches. If I don't deadhead those spent blooms, the plant's going to put energy into producing seeds. And since I'm not trying to grow dahlias, grow new varieties from seed, I don't want the plant putting that energy into it. I want the plant to put energy into putting on new blooms so I can get more flowers. Do I have to deadhead every day? Absolutely not. For me, I deadhead when I just come out here and I feel like doing a bit of working in the garden. If I just feel like spending some time here and I see some blooms that are spent, I might just pick those off. I don't make a big production of it. I don't do it on a particular schedule. And quite honestly, a lot of the dahlias, they don't care. It's not as if, dahlias are not the kind of plant that if you don't deadhead or you don't deadhead right away, that they're gonna stop producing blooms. The dahlias are gonna continue to flower and flower as much as they possibly can through the entire season. So when it comes to deadheading though, how do I know when the flower is done and needs to be clipped off? And how do I tell it apart from a new bloom? Well, when I take a look at them, the shape of the buds are going to be very different. So a new dahlia bud is going to be very rounded. When a dahlia is done blooming, when that bloom is completely spent, it starts to get a more cone shape. It gets pointed at the end. And that's what tells me that, hey, this one is done and I can deadhead it off. And then to do the deadheading, to cut off those spent blooms, I find the bloom and I trace the stem back to the very next set of leaves that I come to, and I clip it just right above those leaves. All right, so whether you are pinching off your dahlias or whether it's time to start deadheading, trust me, you don't have to worry about messing up your plants. These are things that the plants are going to appreciate. It's actually going to benefit them. By pinching off early, you're going to create more blooms for the rest of the season. And by deadheading, you're going to encourage the plant to put its energy into making more blooms for you. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And so until next time, happy gardening.